Hello and welcome to the Business Spotlight Series. My name is Marianne Hauser and I'm the Senior Partner here at Serendipity Action Coach of Central North Carolina. Today I have Kayla Key, owner of Piedmont Aviation Snack Bar, as my guest. Kayla is going to share with us what it's like taking over a family business, what it's like to run a snack bar that's actually an icon in the community. We're going to be talking with her about her business, her journey to business ownership, maybe some of the challenges she's had, what are her best practices, and take a sneak peek into what it's really like to run a snack bar. And I've looked at those pictures online. That food looks amazing. So if this is the first time you're on my channel, please be sure to like and subscribe to make sure that you get notifications when we drop new conversations with other business owners just like this one. So welcome, Kayla.
Thank you.
So generally speaking, give us an overview of your company and how the snack bar got started. Tell us a little bit of your story.
So, well, from me or since way back when with my dad.
Give us a little bit of the beginning.
The whole thing. So I definitely am not going to tell the story as good as my dad, but he took over in 1989, and there was a guy before him that actually ran that same little restaurant for 30 years. So it's been there for 60 plus years, actually. Um, so my papa worked across the street selling airplanes, and that's how he got associated with even being able to get in there and run the restaurant. So my dad was always a great cook, worked at a couple barbecue places, but that was his thing. So my papa got him in over there, and that's how he started there. But then I started working as the cashier there when I was as a child, yes, but about 16, 17. And I have two other sisters, but I'm the one that worked in there mainly. My younger sister would do it a couple summers, but I've always worked the cash register in the restaurant. And he always talked about retiring. I don't know who I'm going to give it to. And I would always be like, me. But I definitely thought I was ready, but probably wasn't, not that young. But uh, we had moved out to Mount Airy, and my dad called me and said he was finally ready to retire, and I didn't believe him, honestly, because he had said it so many times. But I had met my fiance Scott, who is our grill guy, and so that was like the perfect combination, um for my dad, for him to be able to retire. I can't just run the register. Someone has to cook the food when he retires, so Scott, everyone makes the joke that Scott's the reason that I got the restaurant, because without him, it just doesn't run. And we came down and we worked with my dad for a couple months so my dad could show him the way he wanted him to make everything. And he is very, very specific about the way everything is made there. And then he moved in with his dad, started taking care of him, and we just took over. And I just kind of learned as I went, to be honest. We came in, and I had a couple people that came out and like took some pictures, like some foodies on Instagram, and I was like, I love the way that they're taking the pictures. Like, I need to learn how to do that. And that's really where things kicked off, is when I started learning how to post pictures. My dad had that Facebook for probably 15 years and had maybe posted like 3 things on it. And so I took over his old Facebook, which had a lot of friends and stuff that he had followers on there. But then I just started posting, and I started coming up with all these different ideas for these crazy sandwiches that I could take these, beautiful pictures of. And they loved it. I mean, social media is a free advertisement, and people love food. People love
Yes,
food.
they do. Yes, they do. Some people live for their food.
Yes,
So,
they do.
what does your ownership structure look like now that you've taken over? Are you the sole owner now, or are there other investors or other people involved in the ownership of your business?
So no, my dad is still the owner of the business, and I manage the business. I come in, I do all of the books, I do the money, and I do all that. So it's me, I guess, me and him, and then my fiance, like he comes in, he cooks the food, he does our trucks and all that stuff, but very, tiny, close knit.
Did you say trucks?
Yeah, like our truck orders and stuff like that. My fiance
Oh,
he takes care of that type of stuff. But
ordering and the purchasing and all that.
yes, yes, yes. And he does great at it, but
Awesome. So who primarily does this little snack bar serve?
I think that it seems to be every single person in Winston-Salem at this point because, we are busy as heck every day, but, I would say we definitely have more outsiders than the people that are around us, like the businesses that are surrounding us. Like, we have like Arrow 8, and then we have not Nationwide. I'm so sorry. North State, which is the airplane place right down the street. But we used to really like that used to be the go-to. Like we would get busy at a very specific time back when my dad ran it because everybody went on lunch at the same time around then, which we still had outside people, but I think now it's a very, very wide variety of people that we serve.
Awesome. So how does somebody know they're a good fit to come eat at your place? What kind of food do you serve?
Well, we do the breakfast and we do lunch, and I just think that, in my opinion, our food, you can go get breakfast and lunch from anywhere now, but our food is kind of more old school. Like you can't go and get a good like biscuit. I mean, biscuit and gravy. Yes, you can get anywhere, but like an old school biscuit and gravy, you know what I'm saying? Like just our fried tenderloin. That's another thing. Like we, hand bread that and then we fry it, but like it's just when you come in there, it's not just about the food, in my opinion. I think that just feeling like you're at home, which we try to make everybody feel like that. Like you just don't get that when you go to other places anymore. Like I feel like that gives people a lot, not just the food. But as far as lunch goes, the same thing goes for lunch. Like our burgers, our Philly cheesesteaks, hot dogs. I try not to be biased that our food is the best food because, there's other really good food, but I just think that we have kept it the same for so long, that I think consistency has been key with all of our food. And I think that that really matters.
Well, then you've already answered my next question, which was what makes you unique, right? What makes you unique
Yeah.
is your old school style.
Hmm.
So what do you think, how do you think you compare to your competitors, right? What, if you look at other like we have a couple of old school hot dog places in town, right? What
Yeah.
makes you unique?
Um, I would say that, well, I think that because of the longevity of us being there and nobody knew, you know what I'm saying? I feel like that makes us unique first, because it's been there forever and people are just now like excuse me, coming in, like this is the first time I've lived here my whole life. I feel like that really sets us aside from everybody else because, we have been there so long, and being there so long and not knowing or having no advertisement, I feel like really says something about a place.
Right. You're
Finally
like this
finding.
little secret gem in the downtown Winston area, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this leads me to marketing. You said that social media has been successful for you. Marketing is vital to every single business. Um, what percentage of your sales do you invest back in marketing, or is it just organic marketing that's happening right now?
So for the first year, it was just, plain me taking pictures and posting it, And then I did start doing some advertisements on Facebook. And that's something I've told a couple people about because that was um great to us. And I did that. I want to say I did that for about a year. Where I started, I don't know the percentage I put back in, but I didn't pay an astronomical amount to run ads. It's not really the amount that you pay, it's how long you run it and the amount that you pay. That's what I found for the year that I was running my ads. And I was always like, I would love to tell everybody that secret because it's so easy. You have to find the right settings. Like I never would let like Facebook, do like the leverage, like Facebook leverage where it picks the audience for you and stuff. Like I, specifically went through and like picked what I wanted, you know what I mean? And so we definitely did. We advertised for like a year. And I want to say about 2 months ago, I stopped doing that because after a while of they changed Facebook ads. It was a little different when I first started doing it. And then after a while, I think I hit a different threshold and I didn't entirely understand, everything. So I was like, let me take a couple steps back because I did start spending a lot more money on my ads.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And I took a couple of steps back and I stopped doing the ads. And honestly, business has never been better, which doesn't make any sense.
Well, I think when you get a client once, it's not like it's a one and done, right? They fall in
Yeah,
love and
yeah,
they come back. So every time you build your audience, you're you're expanding, it's like multiplying, right? So that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. So how do you track your numbers as far as, the business is booming, but what kind of data and how do you keep track of the leads that come in? And a lead is a new customer, right? So how do you keep track of all that data?
Um, so I don't keep track of that data. I guess that's why I said it would be awesome, to get with you guys. But honestly, because I'm there every single day, I guess I know that that's not like the best answer, but because we're always there, like I see all of the brand new faces. We know most of our customers, we know them by name. And then the new people, like if I don't realize or recognize they're new, I can tell when they're ordering, or they'll tell me straight up, I'm new, like, help me out with the menu. And so I feel like we see a decent amount of new people a day. Like I'll say 50-50, if not a little more, because they just come in. I mean, they just keep coming. And I don't know where they're coming from, because I always worry, are we going to reach everybody? you know but they just they keep coming in. And just today was awesome. We had at least, I mean, you're talking at least 80% new people today.
Wow. And so here's something that I'm going to ask you to do going forward. And I'm jumping in and being a business coach for just a minute. But
Okay.
every single person that comes in, you have to ask them, where did they hear about you? And start to keep a log.
I think that that's a good idea, but almost impossible with how busy we are. With
Well, I'm
busy.
going to have to show up one day at lunchtime and see if I can help you figure that out.
Yes,
So
because go ahead.
share with us a little bit about maybe what some of your challenges are, especially with a family business. I know that I've spoken to other family businesses, and it's different when you work with your mom or your dad or your sister or your brother. What are some of the challenges that come with the family business?
Well, because I work with my fiance, that's definitely a challenge sometimes. Like coming from a business standpoint, if something is made wrong, if something is wrong, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna turn around, I need it fixed. But sometimes it gets maybe misconstrued between the two of us, you know what I mean? Because we are, we are together, we have a personal relationship. So um I think that that's a little tough sometimes, but honestly, it's not been that hard to navigate. That does not happen often, because there's not that many mistakes that we make. But um I think that back when I worked with my dad, it was honestly, that was a little bit harder than working with my fiance. So it's been challenging, but I think honestly it was more challenging when we worked at two separate places and worked two separate shifts. You know what I'm saying? So I honestly I like it, because we go to work together, we come home together. It's the same time. We can help take care of our kids together, pick up from school, all that good stuff. So I think that, it benefits us.
Awesome. So is there a challenge or a roadblock that you've been forced to overcome?
Oh, I guess, really in the beginning when we first started is, not knowing, anything. Like I didn't know anything. I've always I've served and I've bartended in restaurants, and I have watched my dad run a business for a long time, but, that is brand new to me. And just learning how to put my business out there, how to take criticism, because I don't like it whenever, I don't want a bad review. Nobody wants a bad review. But I really pride ourselves on the fact that we've only had a couple bad reviews since we've been in there. But I think that that was probably for me the hardest thing to overcome is, getting in there and getting it started. And then realizing that I got what I wished for and learning how to deal with that, because that in itself is a completely different ball game. Like my dad always told me, are you sure that you want to amp it up? Are you sure that you want to get that busy? Because you're going to learn to enjoy the slow days. And I'm like, no, no, no. And and honestly, for me, it's not even about the money. Like I absolutely love and enjoy to show, like, I don't know, just show everybody like what we're doing in there, and just to hear all of the feedback. Like that's like the best thing in the world for me. Like I love that, because it's so rewarding.
It absolutely is. When you're in business, if you don't love people, I say you should go get a job, right? Because if you're a business owner, you have to love people, right? Because
Oh
they're the
yes.
lifeblood. Um, so Where do you see, if, we've looked backwards a little bit, now let's look forward. Where do you see the snack bar or the business in general in the next 3 to 5 years?
Mm. I would, so if you asked me like mid-year last year, I'd say in a whole brand new building. But right now I'm kind of at a standstill on what I want to do because um like I said, the hype only lasts for so long because we will go back to just being steady. And summertime comes every single year and every business feels summertime, every business. But I would love to get us in our own building. Because I would love to have an established, like something of my own that I know that one day will go to my kids. And I'm not saying that that building's going anywhere, but that's in a really old building, like we're in a very, very old building. So anything could happen. Somebody could come by it. Things happen around the airport all the time. There's, always something happening. So I would love to see myself be in a more uh, running the business in a more business way in the next 3 to 5 years. And if that means getting into my own building, then that means getting into my own building. But I think that I got to get past the maybe being a little worried of moving from that spot because it's been there for so long.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I would like that to happen.
Change is scary, but sometimes if, one of my mentors says, if it doesn't scare you a little bit, it might not be worth doing.
I know. Yeah, I think I talked myself into it. I talked myself back out of it. I think I already know the answer, but it's just a matter of time of, an opportunity.
So now, is the business right now just you and your fiance, or are there other team members?
So right now my best friend's husband is working with us like during some of the weekdays to help us out because we got busy after the guy Chom Tom, the influencer on social media, he did his review. We got really, really busy after that. So he came in and helped us. And he's still currently helping us some days because we are busier right now. I don't know. I guess it's still the review. And then the news came out this morning. So for now, he's helping us. And then my uncle Jamie, my uncle worked with my dad for 27 plus years before me. So he actually, whenever we first came in, he wasn't working with us. And then I asked him if he wanted to come in and help us like part-time, because at the time I was pregnant with my youngest daughter whenever we first took over. And so I needed someone to come in and help us because my dad would be leaving. So I asked my
Right.
uncle to come back and help us out. So he was coming in and helping us out time to time. And then I ended up having my baby and I stayed home for a little while and then came back to work. But those are the two guys, and I will give it up to my uncle Jamie all day. I love him to death, and he has always busted his butt for the snack bar. And we used to have his senior picture hanging up. Employee of the decade is what we used to have hanging above it. It fell, but yes.
That's really great. So, as you look forward, I don't know how long you're going to have your uncle as part of the team. What do you think your approach will be to hiring new team members?
See, I worry about that about every day because we are very particular in the in the restaurant, and everything has to be done to a T because I can't, not that I can't, but I don't want the bad reviews. And it's really hard to find somebody that can fit in there because we are all family, to bring an outsider or anybody else in, it would just be so odd, but also difficult to find somebody that would want to put their all into our food. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like an employee, not that they don't love their jobs, but it's hard to find somebody that loves what they do, especially to cook food or to drop some fries, you know what I'm saying? But everything has to look the same. Everything has to be the same all the time. So it would be very difficult to find somebody that could replace my uncle one day because we have very high standards and we have to. That's what withholds the name.
Well, I'm sure there are other business owners who are going to be listening to this who have the same fears that you do. And I can
Yeah.
guarantee you that every business owner that started out as a small business owner, just like you, had those same fears. But there
Yeah.
are lots of businesses, probably McDonald's is one of the first ones, right? that was able to grow and scale by having systems and processes. So I can't wait to chat with you more, maybe offline about that.
Yeah,
Um,
me too.
and so it seems like the training, everything that wraps around training in your business is on the job training. Is there any other training that you or your fiance or maybe some of your team members might need?
Um, no, I don't think so.
Awesome. Well, lucky you.
I don't,
So as we
yeah,
begin to wrap up, I have a few rapid fire questions, just top
okay,
of mind answers.
okay.
What is the key to success for you?
Patience, lots of patience.
Okay, very good. What is one piece of advice you would impart to another business owner?
Uh, 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 um, I guess just do it. If you have an idea and everyone around you's telling you it's not a good idea, just do the idea that you had, you're gonna run with that because that's the best one. You gotta believe in that idea because I've had plenty of people tell me, no, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. They've been saying it since the beginning, but I did it anyways, and look where it got us.
Yep, you're almost a household name now in Winston. So what's a book that you're reading now, or maybe that you've read in the past that's a good book for a business owner to
Oh
read?
gosh. I'm actually reading a book called Don't Panic.
That sounds like a good book for business owners.
It
Don't
is,
panic.
it is. I think that I've been struggling a little bit lately, not like with, just overwhelmed. I've been overwhelmed, and because it is overwhelming. I have a family, I have, 3 kids, I have the business, I have, a life, whatever. But I I spoke with my sister the other day, and she said if you don't give your body and mind time to rest, it will make time. And I just think that I feel like a lot of people probably should hear that because that's very true. I think
Great.
that I need to be on go all the time because that means I'm doing something, I'm worth something. But no, you gotta be good to yourself too in order for everything to, do and flow the way you need it to.
Absolutely. That's a good piece of advice for other business owners.
Yeah.
Take time for yourself.
Yeah.
Um, if you had to choose one area of your business that you could wave a magic wand and immediately improve it tomorrow, what would that be?
Um, well, I guess I wish I could wave a magic wand and have brand new everything in a brand new building, yes, but I would wave a wand and know all of the business, things that I need to know, all of the things behind the scenes, because that's the most important thing. And that's the thing that I'm focused on right now.
Awesome. So before we go to the final question of the day, where are you located? What is your social media handles? How can people reach out or come to the restaurant and check out the amazing food that you make at the Piedmont Snack Bar?
Okay, we are located at 3820 North Liberty Street in Winston-Salem. And then I have different handles for all of them. My Facebook handle is the Piedmont Aviation Snack Bar. Our Instagram handle is Piedmont Aviation Snack Bar, and I don't use TikTok like that, so I'm not gonna do that one. But what was the last question you said?
Just how can people, if they have a question or they want to get in touch with you, the best way is to
Uh-huh.
just show up and grab a hot dog and see if they can
Or
get.
yeah, they can do that, or they can always message us on Facebook. I'm always checking our messenger on Facebook, so we're very responsive. Or they can just give us a call if it's if we're at work, because also very responsive while we're there.
And what are your days and hours?
Monday through Friday, you have 7 a.m. to 1:15, and then every Tuesday night we reopen from 4 to 7 and do our whole lunch menu.
So, but no weekend hours.
No, I only do a surprise Saturdays, like about every other month. And I do a late night, and it's about 6 to 9 p.m. But we are about to do one at the end of this month. It'll be the last Saturday of this month. I haven't put that on Facebook or anything yet, but that's the Saturday we picked. So.
And folks show up when it's not a routine day, that you get enough
Oh
coverage on
my
Facebook.
goodness. When I do Saturdays, it is unlike any other day. It's insane. And that's why it's hard to do them because I have to make sure I have enough people. They will
Wow.
line straight out the door. We did our first 6 to 9. When I say we got there at 6, we opened the doors at 6. They were literally lined out the door around the thing. Like, I mean, that was the longest line I've personally ever seen. because I guess Saturday night everyone's, off work doing whatever, but it's insane on those Saturdays.
Wow. So the folks who are listening, if you haven't been to the Piedmont Aviation Snack Bar, that sounds like people don't line up unless it's magical. It sounds like it's pretty magical there. So as we wrap up, my one final question for you is, what is most inspiring to you today?
Um, the most inspiring thing to me today, I guess, would be my kids. My kids. I wanted to say my dad at first, but I think my kids, they inspire me to just, do everything that I do on a daily basis. I mean, I want them to have what I had, you know what I'm saying? But then times 10. I
Yep.
definitely, I want them to have what I have. And honestly, being able to have the peace of mind of running my own business and knowing that, I have a steady income and I can do the things that I want to do and I need to do. I would love to give that to my children.
Awesome. Well, that's a wonderful inspiration. My kids are also inspiring to me. I think that's what every parent wants, and you're now on the road to be able to give it to them. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
That's it for the Business Spotlight interview. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please do so today. And stay tuned for our next amazing business owner that we're going to hear their story. And make sure you visit the Piedmont Aviation Snack Bar if you're ever in Winston-Salem. Thanks so much for your time, Kayla. I look forward to learning more about your business.
Yeah, thank you, Marion.